Have you ever felt lost in the modern dating scene, where endless swiping and frantic chasing leave you feeling empty and uncertain? What if true strength in relationships isn't found in desperate pursuit, but in a quiet stillness, a calm confidence rooted in timeless wisdom? Stoicism teaches that genuine connection arises when you center your life on inner worth rather than external validation. In this guide, we'll explore 10 essential Stoic lessons for the modern man in dating. Each lesson, supported by real-life examples and ancient insights, will show you how to transform neediness into steady self-assurance and build deeper, more authentic connections. If you find these insights valuable and want to continue our journey into practical Stoicism, please like, share, and subscribe. Your support means the world, and together we can cultivate a life of calm, purpose, and meaningful relationships. Now let's dive in. Lesson 1. Cultivate self-worth as the foundation of your dating life. In modern dating, the chase for approval can be relentless. Many men fall into the trap of measuring their worth through the number of likes, messages, or fleeting compliments they receive. Stoicism, however, teaches that true self-worth is intrinsic, built on a foundation of virtue, wisdom, and integrity. When you develop self-worth from within, external opinions lose their power over your emotional state. Imagine a scenario where you go on a date, and despite your best efforts, the conversation fizzles out. The instinctive reaction might be to feel rejected or to question your attractiveness. Yet, a Stoic man understands that his value is not defined by one encounter or the opinions of others. Instead, he reflects on his core virtues, his honesty, his commitment to growth, and his ability to remain true to his principles. By focusing on these qualities, you create an inner reservoir of confidence that no one's fleeting judgment can deplete. One practical way to build self-worth is through daily affirmation. For instance, start your morning by recalling past achievements that made you proud, perhaps a time when you handled a difficult situation at work with grace, or when you supported a friend through a tough moment. Write these down in a journal. Over time, these positive reflections become a powerful reminder of your inherent value. Additionally, cultivate activities that reinforce your sense of identity. Engage in hobbies or personal projects that enrich your life and contribute to your growth. Whether it's learning a new skill, volunteering in your community, or simply reading thought-provoking literature, these pursuits reaffirm that your self-worth is tied to your inner development, not to external validation. As Seneca advised, no man was ever wise by chance. Wisdom and self-worth are earned through deliberate, consistent effort. Consider also how you handle rejection. Instead of internalizing a bad date as a personal flaw, use it as feedback, a sign to refine your approach and to become more aligned with your values. When you view rejection through the lens of Stoic growth, it becomes a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. You learn to appreciate that every experience, whether positive or negative, contributes to your personal evolution. Ultimately, a Stoic man in dating stands firmly in his self-worth, radiating an authentic confidence that draws others naturally. He understands that his value is not contingent on external validation, but on his unwavering commitment to his inner principles. This robust foundation not only makes him resilient in the face of dating challenges, but also enhances his attractiveness, as true confidence is one of the most compelling qualities in any relationship. By cultivating self-worth, you create a solid base from which all other aspects of your dating life can flourish. When your inner light shines bright, you no longer seek validation from others. You become complete, and that completeness is magnetic. Lesson 2. Embrace non-attachment to outcomes. A key challenge in modern dating is the anxiety that comes from obsessing over outcomes, whether a date will lead to a relationship or if a missed message signifies rejection. Stoic philosophy teaches us that while you can control your actions, you cannot control others' responses. Embracing non-attachment means focusing on your genuine self-expression rather than fixating on how things should turn out. Imagine you're preparing for a date. You invest time in planning, dressing well, and choosing the perfect setting. Yet, once the date is underway, you find that the conversation is a bit awkward where your partner seems distracted. The natural reaction might be to overanalyze every moment, wondering if you said the wrong thing or if your efforts were wasted. Instead, the Stoic approach is to accept the outcome as beyond your control. You give your best, then allow the results to unfold naturally. This doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care enough about your inner peace to let go of unproductive worry. Epictetus famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react that matters." In dating, this means that every interaction is an opportunity to practice self-mastery. Focus on your behavior. Be courteous, genuine, and engaged. Once you've done that, release the need for a particular result. If a connection doesn't deepen, see it as a lesson rather than a failure. This mindset not only reduces anxiety, but also transforms each experience into a building block for personal growth. A practical technique is to set small, achievable expectations for each date. Instead of thinking, "This must lead to a relationship," reframe your goal as, "I will have an enjoyable conversation and learn something new about someone today." This shift in perspective lowers the stakes, making the experience more about connection and less about outcome. You protect your emotional state by not tying your happiness to a specific result. Moreover, when you embrace non-attachment, you allow yourself to be more present. You're not lost in a loop of what-ifs or if-onlys. Instead, you're fully engaged in the moment, appreciating the nuances of conversation, body language, and shared experiences. Over time, this presence cultivates a natural calm that others find appealing. It sends a signal that you are secure in yourself, regardless of external circumstances. By continuously practicing non-attachment, you build emotional resilience. You learn to enjoy the journey of dating without the burden of expectations that lead to disappointment. Your interactions become more authentic, and your inner peace acts as a magnet for genuine connections. Ultimately, focusing on what you can control while letting go of the rest is a liberating Stoic principle that transforms dating from a source of stress into an opportunity for self-expression and growth. It allows you to savor each encounter without the shadow of fear or the weight of rigid outcomes. Lesson 3. Prioritize stillness over neediness. Modern dating is often a frantic race to capture attention, endless texting, over-the-top gestures, and a constant need for validation. But the Stoic man knows that stillness is a far more attractive quality than neediness. Stillness reflects inner confidence, emotional self-reliance, and a calmness that draws people in naturally. When you remain composed, even in the face of uncertainty, you signal that your value isn't dependent on someone else's approval. Imagine a scenario where you send a message and she doesn't respond immediately. The impulsive reaction might be to send multiple follow-ups or overthink every moment of silence. A Stoic, however, sees this as an opportunity to remain still. Instead of panicking or chasing after validation, he holds space, trusting that genuine connection requires time and that his worth is already secure. This calm presence exudes confidence. When someone sees that you are unruffled by a delayed reply, they're drawn to the quiet assurance you project. Stoic philosophy teaches that true strength lies in self-control. By cultivating stillness, you avoid the trap of neediness. Instead of being consumed by anxiety over every notification, you focus on what truly matters: your inner life, your personal goals, and your continuous self-improvement. As Marcus Aurelius advised, the impediment to action advances action. In dating, this means that every moment of stillness, every pause where you resist the urge to chase or overanalyze, is a step toward building a more resilient and attractive version of yourself. Consider practical techniques to cultivate stillness. Begin by creating short rituals during your day, perhaps a few moments of deep breathing before checking your messages or a quick mindfulness exercise after a date. These practices help you center your thoughts and prevent impulsive reactions. Over time, these micro-moments add up, reinforcing a demeanor of calm assurance. Rather than feeling empty without constant affirmation, you find richness in silence and the space to reflect on what truly matters. Another key aspect is learning to be comfortable with solitude. Many people mistakenly equate being alone with being lonely, but a Stoic man sees solitude as a chance to reconnect with his inner self. This self-connection becomes a source of strength and creativity that naturally radiates outward. When you enjoy your own company, you're less likely to chase after external validation. Your interactions become more genuine, as they are driven by a sense of fulfillment rather than desperate need. The transformation from neediness to stillness is not instantaneous. It requires consistent practice and a willingness to challenge your own impulsive tendencies. But as you build this inner calm, you'll notice a shift in how others respond to you. People are drawn to the energy of someone who is self-assured and content, and that stillness creates a magnetic quality that enhances your overall presence in dating. In essence, prioritizing stillness over neediness is about embracing a mindset that values your internal peace more than external applause. It's a way to live authentically, relying on your own inner strength rather than constantly seeking validation. This quiet confidence not only makes you more attractive, but also allows you to form deeper, more meaningful connections. Lesson 4. Practice mindful listening to deepen connections. Effective communication is at the heart of every meaningful relationship, yet modern dating often suffers from superficial chatter and distracted exchanges. The Stoic man, however, understands the power of mindful listening, a practice that goes beyond simply hearing words to truly engaging with another person's thoughts and feelings. By focusing your full attention on the conversation, you not only validate the other person, but also create a space for genuine connection. Imagine going on a date where your partner speaks about her passions, dreams, and even struggles, yet you're busy checking your phone or planning your next response. The result is a shallow, transactional conversation that leaves both parties unfulfilled. In contrast, mindful listening means you are present, absorbing not just the content of her words, but also the emotions behind them. You make eye contact, nod in understanding, and ask thoughtful questions that invite deeper sharing. This active engagement sends a powerful signal: I value you and your perspective. Stoic teachings emphasize that true wisdom comes from understanding others as well as oneself. When you listen deeply, you learn about the person's values, fears, and aspirations. This knowledge can guide you in building a relationship that's based on authenticity rather than surface-level attraction. For example, if she mentions a long-held dream of starting her own business, you might later recall that detail and ask how her plans are progressing. That kind of attentive follow-up not only enriches the conversation, but also builds trust, as it shows you genuinely care. Mindful listening is also an exercise in self-discipline. It requires you to silence your inner critic and set aside any preconceptions or distractions. Epictetus taught that our judgments often cloud our ability to see things as they truly are. By suspending judgment and focusing entirely on her words, you give yourself a clearer, more objective view of who she is. This openness not only benefits the relationship, but also enhances your own emotional maturity. In practical terms, start small. During a conversation, consciously remind yourself to pause before responding. Let her finish her thoughts completely without interrupting. Reflect on what she said, and then articulate a response that shows you've truly listened. Over time, this habit becomes second nature, and you'll notice that your interactions are more profound and satisfying. Additionally, mindful listening can help resolve conflicts. When disagreements arise, instead of immediately rebutting, take a moment to listen to her perspective. This can defuse tension and create a constructive dialogue, rather than a heated argument. The Stoic approach is to view each conversation as an opportunity to learn and grow, rather than as a battleground for proving superiority. By practicing mindful listening, you not only deepen your connection with others, but also cultivate a sense of inner calm and clarity. This focused engagement transforms ordinary exchanges into opportunities for genuine understanding, paving the way for more resilient and fulfilling relationships. Lesson 5. Reframe rejection as a catalyst for growth. Rejection is an inevitable part of modern dating. Whether it's a missed call, a declined invitation, or a date that doesn't spark the desired connection, these moments can trigger deep insecurities. However, Stoic philosophy offers a transformative perspective. View rejection not as a personal failure, but as a catalyst for self-improvement. By reframing rejection as valuable feedback, you can transform painful moments into stepping stones toward personal growth. Imagine you've asked someone out and they politely decline. The immediate sting might be overwhelming. Your mind races with "what did I do wrong?" or "I'm not good enough." Instead of dwelling on those negative thoughts, a Stoic would reflect on the experience to extract lessons. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I improve my approach next time? This reframing shifts the focus from self-blame to proactive self-development. Marcus Aurelius once observed that the obstacle in the path becomes the path. In the context of dating, every rejection is an obstacle that, when approached wisely, can strengthen your character. For example, if a date doesn't go well, instead of internalizing the failure, you might analyze the encounter, considering whether you listened enough, if your conversation was balanced, or if perhaps your approach came off as overly eager. Each insight is a small lesson that builds your dating acumen, making you more adept for future interactions. A practical exercise is to maintain a growth journal, where you briefly note each rejection and what it taught you. Over time, you'll build a compendium of insights that not only demystifies rejection, but also highlights your progress. This journal becomes a powerful reminder that every no is an opportunity to refine your approach and bolster your self-worth. Another aspect of reframing rejection is cultivating detachment from external validation. Stoics emphasize that your worth is intrinsic and should not depend on someone else's response. Instead of letting a rejection chip away at your self-esteem, you reaffirm that your value is determined by your actions and principles, not by the opinions of others. Epictetus reminded his followers that external events do not disturb us. Our judgments about them do. When you reframe rejection as a neutral event, you prevent it from becoming a source of ongoing anxiety. This perspective also frees you from the paralyzing fear of failure. When you're not desperate to avoid rejection, you're more willing to take risks, approach new people, and try innovative ways of connecting. Over time, this resilience builds a healthier, more dynamic dating experience where setbacks become valuable learning moments. In essence, by turning rejection into a catalyst for growth, you transform what could be a debilitating blow into an empowering opportunity. Each rejection adds to your wisdom and hones your ability to forge genuine connections. Embrace rejection as a natural part of the journey, a necessary detour that leads you to a better understanding of yourself and what you truly seek in a relationship. Lesson 6. Balance ambition with acceptance. In the high-pressure world of modern dating, ambition can be a double-edged sword. While having clear goals and a desire for meaningful relationships is important, when ambition tips into neediness, it can lead to burnout and perpetual disappointment. Stoicism teaches us to balance our aspirations with a deep acceptance of life's uncertainties. This balance is what distinguishes a confident, attractive man from one who is anxious and desperate. Imagine you're on a series of dates, each one meticulously planned to impress. You might find yourself constantly evaluating whether each encounter is meeting your high expectations. This relentless pursuit of an ideal outcome can lead to frustration and emotional exhaustion. Instead, a Stoic man embraces his ambitions, but also accepts that not every date will turn into a long-term connection. He recognizes that the journey of dating is inherently uncertain, and he finds satisfaction in the experience itself rather than clinging to a single outcome. Epictetus once noted that our happiness is not found in external achievements, but in our internal responses. When you balance ambition with acceptance, you learn to appreciate the process of dating, its successes, its missteps, and its learning opportunities, without letting any one moment define you. For instance, if a promising date suddenly falls through, you don't view it as a catastrophic failure. Instead, you see it as a part of your journey, a moment that contributes to your overall growth. You understand that each experience, no matter how fleeting, adds to your resilience and wisdom. A practical strategy is to set realistic expectations. Begin each interaction with the mindset that your goal is to learn something new about the other person and yourself, rather than to secure a definitive outcome. This approach not only alleviates pressure, but also leaves room for spontaneity and genuine connection. When you're not overburdened by high stakes, you're more likely to enjoy the moment and present your true self, qualities that naturally draw others in. Additionally, balance comes from nurturing other aspects of your life. A Stoic man doesn't tie his entire identity to his dating success. He cultivates passions, friendships, and career pursuits that enrich his life. This multifaceted approach ensures that even if one aspect of your dating life doesn't go as planned, you remain fulfilled overall. This inner richness shines through, making you more attractive and resilient. By accepting the inherent uncertainty of relationships, you free yourself from the constant chase for validation. Instead, you focus on what you can control: your effort, your behavior, your growth. This balanced perspective not only mitigates the fear of failure, but also fosters a sense of contentment and inner peace. Ultimately, it transforms your dating journey into a rewarding process of self-discovery, where ambition and acceptance work hand in hand. Lesson 7. Set clear boundaries to protect your energy. One of the most important lessons in Stoic philosophy, and in modern dating, is the art of setting boundaries. In an era where constant connectivity can blur the lines between personal and romantic relationships, establishing clear limits is essential to maintaining your emotional well-being. A Stoic man knows that protecting his energy and time isn't a sign of weakness. It's a fundamental act of self-respect that ensures healthy, balanced interactions. Imagine being in a relationship where your partner's demands are incessant: late-night texts, expectations for constant availability, or even pressure to attend every social event. Over time, this can lead to a depletion of your mental and physical energy, leaving you feeling drained and resentful. The Stoic approach is to clearly define what you're willing to give, and to communicate those boundaries calmly but firmly. For example, if you need uninterrupted time for personal reflection or work, you might say, "I value our time together, but I also need some space each evening to recharge." This sets the stage for mutual respect and prevents emotional burnout. Stoic thinkers like Seneca emphasize that true freedom comes from knowing and honoring your limits. By establishing boundaries, you ensure that your relationships enhance rather than drain your inner vitality. Boundaries can take many forms, from limiting the frequency of communication to refusing to engage in discussions that leave you feeling belittled or anxious. What matters is that these limits are based on your core values and are consistently maintained. A practical tip is to create a personal schedule that includes designated me time. During these moments, refrain from checking messages or engaging in social media. This intentional pause reinforces that your time is valuable and not up for negotiation. Over time, both you and those around you will begin to recognize and respect these boundaries, fostering an environment where genuine connection can flourish without the pressure of constant availability. Moreover, setting boundaries is also about saying no to behaviors that undermine your self-worth. If you encounter repetitive patterns, such as a partner who habitually cancels plans at the last minute or makes you feel secondary, acknowledge that these behaviors are not acceptable. Clearly communicate your needs and, if necessary, be prepared to step back from the relationship. Stoicism teaches that your energy is finite, and protecting it is paramount to living a balanced, fulfilling life. By consistently enforcing boundaries, you cultivate a sense of empowerment and clarity. You become known as someone who values his time and well-being, which in turn attracts partners who share similar values. This healthy dynamic not only supports your personal growth, but also nurtures a relationship built on mutual respect and independence. In essence, setting clear boundaries transforms your dating life from a source of constant stress into an arena where you control your emotional space. It's a Stoic practice that not only protects you from undue strain, but also paves the way for more authentic and sustainable connections. Lesson 8. Turn solitude into a launchpad for personal growth. In modern dating, moments of solitude, especially when communication stalls, can feel like a void. Yet Stoicism teaches that solitude is not an emptiness to fear, but a fertile ground for self-discovery and growth. Instead of interpreting her silence as a personal rejection, view it as an opportunity to connect more deeply with yourself, refine your passions, and invest in your own development. Imagine a day when your messages go unanswered and you feel the sting of isolation. The natural reaction might be to spiral into worry or self-doubt. But a Stoic man embraces these quiet moments as a chance to turn inward. He might spend time reading a book, reflecting in a journal, or engaging in a creative hobby that sparks joy. Marcus Aurelius often meditated on the importance of solitude for self-improvement, noting that it is in these periods of quiet that our inner strength truly emerges. Use this time to explore your interests, whether it's learning a new language, mastering a musical instrument, or simply taking long walks to clear your mind. These activities not only enrich your life, but also reinforce the understanding that your happiness doesn't depend solely on external validation. Over time, you'll notice that you feel more resilient, more self-assured, and surprisingly more attractive. There's a unique charm in a man who is content with his own company and who continually strives to better himself. Furthermore, solitude provides the space to assess your relationship patterns. Ask yourself, what have I learned from past interactions? How can I grow from these experiences? By dissecting your emotional responses, you can identify recurring themes, perhaps a tendency to overreact or a habit of seeking approval, and work actively to improve them. This introspection not only builds emotional resilience, but also deepens your self-awareness, a trait that enhances your attractiveness in the dating arena. Over time, the practice of transforming solitude into a productive period helps you establish a strong sense of self. Instead of feeling empty when she doesn't respond, you relish the time to recharge and evolve. Your renewed energy and confidence become evident to others, marking you as someone who is independent and self-fulfilled. Ultimately, embracing solitude in this way turns potential loneliness into a launchpad for personal growth. It's a Stoic practice that empowers you to reclaim your time and your inner voice, demonstrating that your worth is inherent and not dependent on external affirmation. Lesson 9. Use humor to lighten emotional tension. Laughter, as the Stoics subtly understood, is a powerful tool to counteract the heaviness of life's challenges. In modern dating, when silence or neglect sets in, a well-timed dose of humor can diffuse tension and restore a sense of lightness. A Stoic man uses humor not to mask his emotions, but to gain perspective, transforming potentially painful moments into opportunities for gentle levity and clarity. Imagine receiving a string of unanswered texts that initially sting with the weight of rejection. Instead of sinking into self-pity, you might find a way to smile at the absurdity of it all. Perhaps you recall a funny anecdote from a previous date or chuckle at how modern communication has become so impersonal. This lighthearted reaction isn't about dismissing your feelings. It's about acknowledging them in a way that doesn't allow them to spiral out of control. Seneca once noted that humor can be a salve for the soul, softening the blow of life's harsher moments. Consider a situation where you planned an exciting date, and, as the clock ticks by with no word from her, you decide to text a witty remark. "I hope you're off saving the world. Otherwise, I might have to keep entertaining myself." Such humor not only breaks the tension, but also shows that you are secure in your own worth, unaffected by a temporary lapse in communication. This kind of self-deprecating yet confident humor is a hallmark of a Stoic mindset. It indicates that while you value connection, you don't need it to validate your existence. Moreover, humor serves as a bridge in difficult conversations. If you ever need to address a sensitive topic, such as her tendency to ignore your messages, a lighthearted remark can open the door without escalating tension. For example, you might say, "I was starting to think my carrier pigeon got lost." This approach can disarm potential defensiveness, making it easier to transition into a sincere discussion about expectations. Humor also works as a reminder not to take everything too seriously. The Stoics believed in keeping perspective. By laughing at the small setbacks, you reinforce the idea that your happiness is not dictated by one moment of silence or a minor misstep. Over time, this habitual levity becomes part of your overall demeanor, reducing the emotional strain that often ages us prematurely. By incorporating humor into your daily interactions, you not only lighten your emotional load, but also make yourself more approachable and resilient. People are naturally drawn to those who can find joy even in adversity. A Stoic man who can laugh at himself and his circumstances radiates a calm confidence that reassures both himself and those around him. Ultimately, using humor to diffuse tension is not a way to avoid deeper issues, but a method to gain a fresh perspective and to keep emotional reactions in check. It's a small, yet powerful practice that can transform moments of neglect into opportunities for connection, growth, and genuine joy. Lesson 10. Anchor yourself in a larger purpose. In the complex world of modern dating, it's all too easy to let every interaction define your self-worth. However, Stoicism teaches that your true value extends far beyond the confines of any single relationship. By anchoring yourself in a larger purpose, whether it's a personal mission, a commitment to personal growth, or contributions to your community, you build a reservoir of inner strength that makes you impervious to fleeting neglect. Imagine the common scenario of anxiously checking your phone after sending a heartfelt message, worried that her silence signifies rejection. Instead of allowing that moment to consume you, you can remind yourself that your life is rich with meaning and purpose. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about the importance of viewing life from a broader perspective, where your worth is measured by your virtues and your contributions, not by external affirmations. This approach transforms a temporary lack of response into a minor blip against the vast canvas of your life. To put this into practice, reflect on your broader goals. Perhaps you're driven by the desire to excel in your career, to pursue a passion project, or to support a cause that matters deeply to you. When you invest your energy in these larger pursuits, the anxiety of any single dating setback diminishes. Your identity becomes multidimensional, composed of many parts that no one action can disrupt. For example, if you're involved in community service or professional development, your sense of purpose is continuously reinforced by real accomplishments and meaningful interactions. Even when a romantic prospect fades, you're reminded that your life's value isn't tethered to that one connection. Instead, it's woven into every project you complete, every goal you achieve, and every positive impact you make. This broader focus shields you from the minor storms of modern dating, allowing you to maintain calm and confidence. Additionally, anchoring yourself in a larger purpose encourages you to view each dating experience as one part of your journey rather than the entirety of your identity. It helps you appreciate that every no or moment of silence is simply a redirect, guiding you toward relationships that truly align with your values. As you evolve, your inner purpose grows stronger, making you less susceptible to the emotional ups and downs that come with individual interactions. This perspective also enhances your overall attractiveness. A man who is clear about his purpose exudes a quiet, magnetic confidence. You become someone who is not defined by superficial markers of success in dating, but by the depth of your character and the clarity of your vision. People are naturally drawn to those who have a strong sense of self and who understand that life's true rewards come from living authentically. Ultimately, by anchoring yourself in a larger purpose, you find a constant source of inspiration that empowers you to let go of transient setbacks. You remind yourself that your journey is far grander than any one moment of neglect, and that your true worth lies in your ongoing pursuit of excellence. This holistic view not only liberates you from the anxiety of dating, but also enriches every facet of your life. These 10 Stoic lessons reveal that staying calm when she ignores you is not about suppressing emotions or retreating into isolation. It's about transforming each moment of perceived neglect into an opportunity for personal growth, emotional resilience, and deeper self-understanding. From cultivating self-worth and practicing non-attachment to embracing solitude, humor, and a larger purpose, these principles empower you to navigate modern dating with a calm, confident presence. If these insights resonate with you, please like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps us continue exploring timeless Stoic wisdom and practical ways to live a balanced, fulfilling life. Embrace these lessons and watch as your inner strength transforms your relationships and your overall well-being. Let's keep growing together, one mindful step at a time.